Hey, welcome back to my studio. If you're new here, my name's Morgan and I make all things party and event. And today I want to show you how to put together this balloon number centerpiece. No matter the age, this is a great addition for any kind of birthday party setup, and it's super simple to make. So follow along and I'll show you how to do it. To make the base of this design, we're going to need 12 5-inch balloons, and I'm using dark blue. I'm also going to be using my hand pump here to inflate all of my balloons. So to start off, you're going to need to inflate 5 of these balloons to 5 pumps of air each, and this is going to make up the first layer of our base. So go ahead and tie off all 5 of those, and then we're going to bring them together into pairs. So I'm going to take 2 balloons and wrap the nozzles around twice and tie them in a knot, and this is going to secure them into a pair. Now, we're going to make sets of 5 to make up this base, so we need to bring one more balloon into this pair to make a trio. So I'm just going to take the nozzle from one of the balloons in the pair and the nozzle of our single balloon and tie those securely together. Now you want to make sure that the single balloon is tied in really snugly so that it doesn't stick out too much farther than the other 2 balloons. So once you've got your trio ready to go, we're going to make one more pair and bring the 2 together so we have our set of 5. Overlap the trio and the pair so that all the nozzles are touching right in the center, and then take one balloon from each set, twisting them around each other to secure them in place. And if we flatten out all these balloons, it should look like a 5-petaled flower. So now we're going to do the exact same steps, only this time we're going to inflate 5 balloons to 3 pumps of air each. Once they're tied together in a set of 5, that will make up the second layer of our base. Now we need to inflate one single balloon to 2 pumps of air and tie it off. This will help support our foil numbers in a little bit, so set it aside for now. To give our design a little stability, I'm going to add a small water balloon to the underside of our base. So this is just a 5-inch balloon that I've filled up with water till it's about the size of a golf ball. And I'm simply going to take the nozzle of that water balloon and tie it to one of the nozzles in our set of 5. Once it's secured in place, I'm then going to flip this set so that the water balloon is facing down towards the table. On top of this, we're going to take our 3-inch set of 5 and lay it directly on top, making sure that our 3-inch balloons are nestled between 2 of the 5-inch balloons below it. This will help keep everything nice and flat and stable. I'm going to bring these 2 sets together by tying one nozzle from the 3-inch set to a nozzle from the 5-inch set, and just make sure you pull them nice and snug as you make that tie. I then laid the 3-inch set right on top, ensuring that they were once again nestled between the 2 balloons below it. For today's design, I'm using these 16-inch gold foil balloons, and I've arranged them in the number 40. Now I love these balloons because they are self-sealing, so I don't have to get out my heat sealer to close up these smaller numbers. Using my hand pump, I'm going to inflate both of these numbers until they're nice and taut, but you can still see crinkles right along the edge of the mylar balloon. That's how you know you've inflated it correctly. Next up, we need to secure these 2 numbers together, but first I want to arrange them so that the 0 is slightly higher than the 4. The 4 will be mounted directly to the base, so the 0 will look like it's floating, which gives it interest, as well as making it appear narrower compared to if I just secured them side by side. And speaking of securing, I'm going to be using glue dashes to bring these 2 numbers together. So everywhere where the 4 and the 0 touch, that's where I'm going to place one of these glue dashes. So in total, I'm using 3 different dashes in various places along the edge of the 0. And I'm just going to press those in place so they're nice and secure, pull off this backing, and then I'm going to make sure I align my 0 and my 4 so that they're both flat against the table as well as parallel to each other, and that will ensure that they stand up nice and straight. Now we need to deal with the nozzles on the bottom of our numbers. The one on the 4 we'll be using as a mounting spot to the bottom of our design. The one on the 0, though, we need to hide away. For the number 4, I'm going to flip it over so that the hole in the nozzle is facing upwards, and then I'm going to lay an empty 260 right across the nozzle. Roll up that nozzle around the 260 until I get up to the edge of the balloon. Then just tie a simple knot in the 260, and not only will this hide away the nozzle, this will give us a great way to mount it to our base. Now let's move over to the 0, and this I want to tuck away so that it can't be seen. So I'm going to take one of my glue dashes and place it near the end of the nozzle and then fold the nozzle in half so it's nice and narrow. Then I'm just going to fold it up until I get to the base of the balloon, securing it in place with one more glue dash, and then I'm going to tuck the entire thing right into the fold at the base of the 0. Now this should pretty much hide the entire tail, so I'm going to judge right where that's going to slip in, then bring it back out, put a glue dash on it, and then tuck it right back in to hold it all in place. To To the base, we need to add that single balloon we pumped up earlier, and I'm simply going to tie the nozzle of that single balloon to one of the nozzles in our 3-inch set of 5. Not only will this camouflage the top of our base, but it'll also give us something to attach our number 40 to. We don't want to directly tie the 4 to the center of our base. We want to tie it off to the left side, so that way the total number 40 is centered over the base. Now that 260 we tied to the bottom of the 4, I'm going to take one of those tails and snugly wrap it around one of the 3-inch balloons, and then take the other tail and wrap it around the back side so that the 4 is snugly sitting down between 2 3-inch balloons, and then simply tie a knot in that 260. We want this to be nice and snug so that 40 isn't going to tilt over, and then once you've got that tied down, just cut away those remaining tails. The way the 4 is secured into the base, it could be tilted a little bit to the left, so to help straighten up the number, we're going to take one more glue dash and put it between the right side of the 4 and to that small balloon we put right on top. By putting a glue dash in this spot, we'll create a little bit of tension on the right side of that 4, and it'll help hold everything nice and upright. You'll probably notice on your foil balloons that there's these tabs along the top and or the bottom, and that's to help you hang them in a garland, but because we don't need them, I'm going to go in with a pair of scissors and simply cut them away so we have some nice clean edges on all of our balloon numbers. And now we can finally start adding some embellishments to our design, and I'm going to make a string of pearls using this gold 260 balloon. I'm going to fill it with 4 pumps of air and then let a little bit of air out so that the balloon is nice and soft. You don't want any more air than this, or we'll run out of room at the end of the balloon. Starting at the nozzle, we're going to make some 2-finger wide bubbles all along the length of this balloon. So I'm going to pinch the balloon right where I want to make my bubble and then twist it a couple times to hold it in place. The most important thing to remember when making a string of pearls is don't let go of the first bubble. As we continue to make twists and bubbles all the way down the length of the balloon, if we let go of that first bubble, the entire thing will unravel. So continue going down the length of the balloon, making bubbles that are about the same size, and always make sure you rotate your balloon in the same direction. You can't rotate it towards you one bubble and then away from you the next bubble, or it'll also unravel. Now once you get a couple bubbles in, it's hard to hold on to that first one, so I like to put the gap between the first and second bubble right between my pinky and ring finger, and that helps me hold on to it but still have my fingers pretty much free to continue making bubbles. So I'm going to do this the entire length of the balloon, and this is where it's really important to not overinflate this balloon, because as you get to the end, the remaining air should be pushed up right against the end of the balloon, and if it's too tight, you can't make those final couple pearls. So it's better to have the balloon a little underinflated than to have it overinflated. And once you get close to that end, the last 2 or 3 pearls, try and divide up the remaining air between those bubbles so you don't end up with one large bubble on the end. Now hold on to that first and last bubble and move back over to the centerpiece. We're going to lay this string of pearls right between our 2 sets of 5. So I'm going to take one glue dash and put it on the side of the last bubble, remove the backing, and stick it down right on top of our lower set of 5. Hold that in place a few seconds so it has a nice chance to adhere. And then we're going to take the rest of the string of pearls and weave it up and down between our 3 and 5-inch balloons. Now the 260 gold is the exact size we need to wrap around this centerpiece. So if it's a little snugger or a little looser, that's okay going around the arrangement. The important thing is that our 2 ends match up with each other. Now don't let go of that nozzle end still, and we're going to put a glue dash right on the underside of that last bubble and a glue dash on the very end of the first bubble. So I'm going to put 2 of these down and then secure them into place, making sure I take that nozzle that's poking out and press it in onto the back side so you can't see it. The last embellishment I'm going to add is some gold tulle right up around the top of our base. So this is a 6-inch wide spool of golden tulle, and I've cut several sheets to 10-inch lengths. And I'm going to take one of those sheets and grab it right in the very center of it and then fluff it upward, just like you would if you're putting tissue paper into a gift bag. I'm then going to insert this in any gaps between balloons all along the top of our base. So not only will this hide any nozzles you might see in between the balloons, but it adds a fun accent to the top of our display. And with that, this centerpiece is ready for a party. I hope you're inspired by today's project and give this one a try. This is a wonderful project to keep in your back pocket for your next birthday party celebration. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe below, and don't forget to check out our Patreon group if you'd like to up your party game. So until the next time, you can check out some of my other videos over here. And remember, stay creative, everyone. Bye!